Shalom, shalom, and welcome. Welcome to Final Exodus Readiness. It's a message to Yasharal, Set-apart Yasharal, also known as Israel. My name is Symmanayah. Let's get started. This is the 11th installment of Final Exodus Readiness. It is a message to those who believe there will indeed be a final exodus before the physical return of Yahusha Mashiach. Again, I say welcome. In this 11th installment, I want to bring to mind the importance of implementation and execution. Two like words. In other words, my brothers and sisters, the time will come sooner than most of us realize where we will begin to move. We will begin to find ourselves facing challenges that require us to move from one location to the next as we find ourselves moving in the direction towards the promised land, towards the set-apart mountain of Yahuah. For those who believe that there will indeed be a final exodus. Not all will be among the ranks of those gathered. Do I believe I will be? Yes, but time will only prove whether these words are true or not. And I think many of us might say we believe we will be. And then those that know that they have issues in terms of choosing whether to obey the Almighty Father or not, know that maybe not so much. And we can always say, we can agree that who really knows. But for those who are receiving convictions in the preparation of such a phenomenal event, pray, my brothers and sisters, pray that we are equipped with the tools necessary to fulfill what is indeed written. Yasharal, there's a lot of talk about leaving. Some say leaving Babylon, referencing the United States. Some say leaving Babylon, referencing various wicked countries. My thing is this, O Yasharal, I believe there will be a final exodus, and I believe that time will come. While there is much talk about these end times, sooner or later we must realize the rubber must meet the road, so to speak. In other words, we must move beyond talk. There must be actions that are reflective of a nation that is awakening in preparation for movement. Let me read a couple of definitions for implementation as well as execution. Implementation, the process of putting a decision or a plan into effect. The process of moving an idea from concept to reality. I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, the things that we believe that will be according to what is written in the scriptures, those of us who may accurately interpret what it's saying will realize that from the vision that the Most High gives us and shares with us, we will find ourselves participants in the process of bringing that vision to reality, to fulfillment. Execution, the carrying out or putting into effect a plan, or order, or of course, action. I presented these two words in an effort to demonstrate their similarities. Whichever word you choose to embrace, both are critical for now and going forward. In other words, many of us have heard the term actions speak louder than words. And I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, there are actions necessary and required of us. And we will soon grow to realize what must and will be done. Let me share with you Malachi 3:6. It reads as follows: For I am Yahuah, I shall not change, and you, O sons of Yaakov, shall not come to an end. The same can be said in James 1:17, which reads as follows. That was Malachi 3:6. James 1:17 reads as follows: Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no change nor shadow of turning. And also, if I may share with you Hebrew, that was James 1:17. Hebrew 13:8 reads as follows: Yahusha Messiah is the same yesterday and today and forever. Yasharal, O Yasharal, it would be wise for us to seek out the life in the words I just presented, for truly we shall grow to see some phenomenal things ahead. There will be times of action. Yes, many actions that will take us beyond just words, that we will discover that will move us from our current comfort zones. Implementation and execution of the Most High Yahuwah's plan will prove to be necessary components in fulfilling his promise made to us, his children. Allow me to also share Genesis 6, 7, and 8. Genesis 6, 7, and 8. It reads as follows. And Yahuwah said, I am going to wipe off man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, creeping creatures and birds of the heavens, for I am sorry that I have made them. But Noah found favor in the eyes of Yahuwah. My brothers and sisters, I just want to share with you that there was a time when the Most High looked at his creation and he made a decision, and Noah found favor. And we know not only Noah alone, but he and his children found favor in the eyes of Yahuwah, the Most High Father. I ask you, my brothers and sisters, do you think during the times ahead there will be much destruction and death? Do we anticipate individuals finding favor from the Most High Yahuwah? I believe the answer is yes, for we indeed anticipate a final gathering from the four corners of the earth. Let me continue, dropping down to the 12th verse. I'm in Genesis 6 chapter, reading now verse 12 through 18, which reads, And the Almighty One looked upon the earth and saw that it was corrupt, for all flesh has corrupted their way on the earth. And the Almighty One said to Noah, The end of all flesh have come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them. And see, I am going to destroy them from the earth. Make yourself an ark of gopher wood. Make rooms in the ark and cover it inside and out with tar. And this is how you are to make it. The length of the ark is 300 cubits. Its width 50 cubits. Its height 30 cubits. Make a window for the ark and complete it to a cubit from above. And set the door of the ark in its side. Make it with lower, second, and third decks. And see, I myself am bringing flood waters on the earth to destroy all flesh, in which is the breath of life from under the heavens. All that is on the earth is to die. And I shall establish my covenant with you, and you shall come into the ark, and you and your sons and your wife and your sons' wives with you. Dropping down to the 22nd verse. And Noah did all that the Almighty One commanded him, so he did. My brothers and sisters, if we examine the scripture thoroughly regarding Noah, we can truly see that there was a time of examination. There was a time where the Most High looked at him. And out of looking and examining Noah and his family, they found favor. And as they found favor by the Most High, they were tasked to build the ark. In other words, it was time to not just say they found favor, but they had to do something. They had to begin to act. And that act that we know of, at the very least, consisted of building and constructing an ark. There was much work to be done in order to build an ark the size that was necessary as described in scriptures. But yet it was accomplished, my brothers and sisters. Let us move to Genesis 7:1, where it says, And Yahuwah said to Noah, Come into the ark, you and all your household, because I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation. You see, not only did he find favor, not only did they build the ark, but the Most High commanded him when to enter into the ark. Dropping to Genesis 7:5, Noah did according to all that Yahuwah commanded him. He did all that was commanded him. Actions, my brothers and sisters. 7:7, Genesis 7:7, and Noah and his sons and his wife and his son's wife went into the ark because of the waters of the flood. Dropping down to Genesis 7:16, it reads as follows. And those going in, male and female of all flesh, went in as the Almighty One had commanded him, and Yahuwah set him in it. I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, as we can see by the scriptures, truly there were instructions given to Noah for him and his family, and they obeyed them as directed. If we look back at Genesis 7:16, which I just read, we see it is written that the Almighty Father, as I mentioned, he shut the door to the ark. I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, we will discover in these end times the methods in which Abba Yahuwah's implementation and execution of his plan will unfold. Again, there will be things we must and will do. Now, I would also like to present the following as well. Genesis 18th chapter. I submit to you to read Genesis 18th chapter, verse 20 through 33. 18th chapter, better yet, for the sake of directness, read the whole chapter, 18th chapter and 19th chapter of Genesis, and we will see what happened with Lot. There was a time where Abraham made intercessory prayer, pleading for the Most High to not destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, if and only if he could find a certain number of people. The task was, if so, then the Most High would spare the lives of those in Sodom and Gomorrah. And if you read the 18th and 19th chapter of Genesis, you will find that that did not occur, with the exception of Lot and his family. And if you read specifically Genesis 19:16, you'll see that Lot's hand and his wife's hand and the hands of his two daughters were held by messengers from the Almighty One, and they led them out of Sodom and Gomorrah. They were led to safety, and we know, of course, the wife looked back. But where I'm going with this, my brothers and sisters, when it comes to implementation and execution, when the Most High says he's going to destroy something, when the Most High implements his plan, there is examination. There is a query to seek out the set-apart ones, and there is judgment. And then there is indeed action, my brothers and sisters. Pray, for sooner or later, my brothers and sisters, we will witness some of the most phenomenal things ahead. I say to you, let me bring to you the 24th chapter of Matthew, verses 37 through 39, reads as follows. And as the days of Noah, so also shall the coming of the Son of Adam be. For as they were in the days before the flood, eating, drinking, marrying, giving marriage, until the day of Noah entered into the ark, and they did not know until the flood came and took them all away, so also shall the coming of the Son of Adam be. You see, my brothers and sisters, many of us look at the fact of those who was left behind in the flood, but we fail to realize and say, like in the days of Noah. During the days of Noah, there was inquiry, there was the desire that there would be others discovered, but it did not occur. There were people living their lives the way they saw fit, but the Most High gave favor to Noah and his family. Are we in a position where we will find favor with the Most High? Have we looked in the mirror? Are we truly seeking to worship and obey him? And if you read Luke 17 chapter, verses 26 through 30, it also talks about the days of Noah as with the days of Lot, which I talked about earlier. My brothers and sisters, I would like to present the questions. Do we believe and anticipate that there will be a final exodus of the set-apart ones of the Most High Yahuah? Know this, the final exodus requires demonstrating fruit. It requires action. It requires the children of Abba Yahuah to move, to function, to demonstrate, to reflect obedience to his living instructions, his living orders. This means that there will be an awakening nation of people set apart that find favor from Abba Yahuah. This means undoubtedly that there will be actions that reflect implementation and execution. I submit to you, O listener, of these words. There will be those who act in the manner of obedience and reap the safety described in the scriptures, and there will be those who face much regret. Remember, if we look at the stories of Noah and Lot, there were evaluations. There was judgment time. There was the identifying of the set-apart one before destruction came, those who found favor. There were things that had to be done, and they did. Things that had to be done, just like there are things that we need to do and things that have to be done going forward. Just as in the days of Noah and Lot, implementation and execution of Abba Yahuah plans require us to act as he says, as he sees fit, as he directs. We will find this occurring through his chosen leaders, directing those whom he are drawing. We will find it through his spirit stirring within us and moving us and the direction that we ought to go. The time is now to begin to seek to discern all tasks being delegated to us individually and collectively. The time is now to seek to discern chosen leaders led by the Spirit of Yahusha. Seek out wise counsel and move beyond just talk. Each of us in the coming days will witness how it is very critical to grow in obedience as the Spirit of Yahusha works with his chosen leaders and through each and every one of us, one towards another. If any of us are uncertain or do not know what he or she should be doing, my recommendation is first begin to pray and pray earnestly, knowing that the Almighty Father knows the very intent of each of us. Next, study and continue to pray and study some more with a full commitment to worship and obey him, he who is the Almighty One, Yahuwah. Remember, there will be those who are fit for the passage, those who are chosen for the passage. But there will also be martyrs. There will be those who will die for Yahusha's sake, and there will be those who will die before such events occur, my brothers and sisters. And there will be those who will fall away. Let me share with you Matthew's 13th chapter, verse 14 and 15. It says, "In them the prophecy of Yasharal is completely filled, which says, hearing you shall hear and by no means understand. Seeing you shall see and by no means perceive. For the heart of this people has become thickened, and their ears are hard of hearing, and their eyes they have closed. Lest they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears, lest they should understand with their heart and turn back, and I heal them." That was Matthew 13, 14, and 15. You see, my brothers and sisters, stiff-necked, rebellious, hard of hearing. There will be those who will not hear. There will be those who will not understand the instructions that come as the Most High implement and execute his plan. Matthew 22:29 reads, "And Yahusha answered, said to him, you go astray, not knowing the scriptures, nor the power of the Almighty One." You see, many people lean on the text, but fail to realize that it is the Spirit of Yahuwah, sending Yahusha's name as our teacher that makes alive his scriptures. John 12:40 says, "He has blinded their eyes and hardened their hearts, so that they should not see with their eyes and understand with their heart and turn, and I shall heal them." You know, he's talking, my brothers and sisters, those who think they can control the narrative, those who think they can control the plan, will find that they're blinded, that they're non-discerning what truly must be done. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 3 and 4 reads, "And indeed, if our good news has been veiled, it has been veiled in those who are perishing, in whom the mighty one of this age has blinded the minds of the unbelieving, so that the enlightening of the good news of the esteem of Messiah, who is the likeness of the Almighty One, does not shine on them." In other words, my brothers and sisters, believe it or not, there are those for the wrong reasons want to know, want knowledge, want to be able to do what they can and use the words in the scriptures for their own gain. And we will find that they are void of truly understanding what the Most High is saying during these final days of implementation of his plan. Truly, there are those who are dumbfounded, who have become confounded because of the wrong intentions, those who have not even heard from the Most High. Yes, there are those who are our brothers and sisters who are overzealous and overeager, who will stumble and fall. And they'll hear from the Most High and may add to it or take away from it. But know this, the Most High promises discipline and refinement to his children. I often mention Hebrews 12th chapter and Revelation 3:19. My brothers and sisters, there are individuals, let's face it, who desire knowledge for all the wrong reasons. They will prove to be among the non-discerning. Make no mistake, the Almighty Father knows his children. He knows those whom he will draw and is drawing. Things to keep in mind, my brothers and sisters, as the plan of the Most High, as we enter into a more ramped up implementation, execution of the Most High's plan. Keep in mind preparation, communication and discussions, packing for some, leaving people or things behind for others. Consider knowing your directions. Well, there will be different directions which we will travel until we come to a central and common point till we ultimately reach that final destination of the set-apart mountain, which I believe, as I've mentioned in times past, is indeed the true Mount Sinai, where Moses received the Ten Commandments. It is currently known as Jabal al-Lawz and it is located in the northwest quadrant of Saudi Arabia. There will be structure and leadership. We will move and we will find ourselves transitioning from one city to the next, from one state to the next, for some from one country to the next. For some of us, we will cross the ocean. We will cross rivers and seas. Yes, my brothers and sisters, a journey is before us. And sooner or later, we will witness the drawing power of the Almighty Father, bringing into shape those who He are preparing for that final exodus. And for those who want knowledge to manipulate it and everything, they have their rewards. For those of us who sincerely want to know, who sincerely want to possess the knowledge of the implementation plans from the Most High, let us fear Him. Let us fear the Almighty Yahuah, for here in that fear of Him is the beginning of knowledge. If you doubt these words, consider Proverbs 1:7. It says, the fear of Yahuah is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and discipline. That was Proverbs 1:7. And these end times will no doubt prove as destruction and death comes before the face of the earth. People will seek out refuge. So I say to you, be mindful of Proverbs 14:26. It reads as follows. In the fear of Yahuah is strong trust, and His children have a place of refuge. Refuge would truly be a word that will visit us as we begin to see the promises regarding discipline, vengeance, and wrath unfold during these last days. For the Most High have promised discipline to His children. He has promised to avenge the innocent. For it is written, vengeance is mine, saith the Almighty One. And truly, we know that during the great tribulation and even beforehand, that the wrath of the Almighty Father will indeed emerge and rise upon the face of the earth. Who is aware of the great tribulation mentioned in Revelations, book of Revelations? Who among us is ready to begin moving beyond lip service, past just talking about it? Who among us is ready to begin demonstrating that we are able to discern what must and will be done and begin doing it? Making preparation, some beginning to move. For we will not be beamed out of the middle of one country to the promised land. He is the same yesterday and today. We will not find ourselves beamed into place. It will require movement. It will require us to act, O Yasharal. I encourage each child of Abba Yahuah to continue pursuing set-apartness. Know that our redemption draws near. It would be wise to seek to discern what is needed to reflect the implementation and execution of the Almighty One's living plan for His children. Let us discern His instructions and orders. If you doubt what is to be done, ask, seek out wise counsel prayerfully with a prayerful mind. Seek out the chosen leaders of the Most High. You may be one. Seek to discern what the Most High is telling you to say to His children. For you, O Yasharal, we, O Yasharal, there are tasks that must be implemented. We must execute the instructions, the vision that is given before us, my brothers and sisters. I am compelled to believe that sooner or later, we will see more and more people acting, moving. We will see evidence of such. Let us learn to listen when required to listen, and let us learn to speak when required to speak. O Yasharal, my prayers that each of us are in good health, sound mind, and continually being encouraged, knowing that our redemption is closer than we realize. There will be changes in our lives. As I mentioned in the previous recording, there will be costs and sacrifice. We will begin to realize and know what it means to witness the implementation, the execution of the Most High's plan like never before imagined. But soon and very soon, my brothers and sisters, it will become clear to each of us. Unity comes. Until next time, O Yasharal, take heed to these words. My name is Symmanayah. Shalom, shalom, shalom.